What is going on, everybody? This is Mike from the Last Corvette. So today, as I was driving and I was making part two of the lower center dam replacement on the C6 Corvette, it made me think of something else. I know for a fact that I made videos on replacing these A-pillar fascias. I haven't looked, but I'm pretty sure I made videos kind of showing you guys what you need as far as hardware goes, because OEM fascias are attached to the inner structure via rivets. And unless you have a rivet gun, which I don't, you can use stainless steel hardware and replace them. Now, the reason I replaced these fascias is because they were weathered. This vehicle sat for over 6 months at different holding lots, blah, 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 blah. I think you guys heard me say this whole story a couple of times. And two components that I replaced on this B-pillar, I don't think I ever did a video. So this weather seal, this is actual weather seal that lives on your B-pillar inside of a aluminum channel. And there's also a couple of push pins on each side. This is actually what seals your target top to the B-pillar. Same thing over here in the front. This one is still original. It's good. No issues there. This one was a little bit weathered. Still wasn't dry rotted, but I ended up replacing it. Bought a new one, and this, like I said, snaps into a groove. It's like kind of like a tongue and groove setup. And you just use a trim tool to reseat your new weather seal. Pretty simple. It runs across, obviously. It goes all the way down the halo, across the B-pillar, and to the passenger side. So I never made a video on this, but it's actually pretty simple to do. All you got to do is remove the target top, and you will see push pins on the inside. Actually, I have a key with me. You can open the door. And look in here. Yeah, so you see there's a push pin here. I want to say there's a push pin somewhere else. I think it's this one here you got to remove. But regardless, once you expose your or remove your target top and expose your inner side of the B-pillar, you'll be able to get to it and literally just yank it out and then install the new one. But when you do install the new seal, you will need a like a plastic trim tool to actually seat it properly up against this side of the B-pillar. But anyway, another thing that I replaced is this, we'll call it a weather seal or a weather strip. It's more so of a dust seal to me, because this just fills in the gap between the rear hatch glass and the back side of the B-pillar. Well, mine was starting to come apart, like most of them do on these C6s, right at the hinges. So you got a hinge here, you got a hinge here. So when you lift your glass, in your hatch, I should say, it actually puts pressure, kind of lifts on the seal. Now the seal, same thing I bought from GM. It comes just kind of rolled up in the bag, so you do have to let it sit. Preferably if you're doing this, like let's say in off season, I waited till like mid-spring. Just bring it inside the house, warm it up a little bit. Don't just try to, yank it out and try to form it. But as you can see, here's the new seal. Mine wasn't ripped. It wasn't weathered. It was just the backing was actually coming apart, and I had gaps here. It was basically falling off. And believe it or not, even when GM built these C6s, they use a 3M backing on it. So when you get the seal, this dust seal, or whatever you want to call it, the weather stripping, you actually have to peel off the backing, and then, like for my case, I started here on the driver's side of the halo, and I moved my way all the way across. And yes, I replaced mine without removing the hatch. Now, a proper way of doing this, you probably need 2 or 3 people. You have to undo your hinges, undo your struts, remove this whole hatch, obviously set it on something where it's not going to break. And trust me, these things are expensive if you do break them. You need a third person, especially when you're reinstalling it, to kind of guide you into position and start your, your bolts to put the hinges back onto the hatch, or the hatch onto the hinges. But yes, it's doable without removing the hatch. So what I did in a nutshell, since this is a 3M style, basically tape, I just grabbed my old one right here in the corner and I peeled it all off. I used Goof Off, and you can reach it. You can reach these areas pretty easily. You can also lift the hatch. It'll give you more room, but use some Goof Off and actually work the old grimy, sticky residue off the backside of the pillar. And then what I did is like I said, I just started applying this weather seal right in this corner here. I matched it up and went all the way across. And once again, when you get to this portion here, you got to take your time, just literally a 1/4 inch at a time. Easier said than done. Like I said, it can be done because I did it. And use once again, a trim tool, preferably wrapped in some paper towel or something like that, and actually get in from this side and seat your weather seal. Basically apply as much pressure as you can to get the adhesive side to stick to the inside of your B-pillar. And I went all the way across, and then over here I had to trim because it was slightly longer, but I think they do it on purpose. They leave you a little bit, like I want to say 1/8 of an inch, maybe more, of extra material just so you can trim it. Now, one thing I can tell you is if I had to do this again, I would definitely remove the hatch. I would call in some some help, and I would also wait and try to heat up that seal some more. Just basically maybe let it sit in the house for over 24 hours. That's the best thing you can do. I probably just waited, I don't know, a couple hours. And what happens is you can't see it during the day, but at night, if the light is hitting just right, you can see there's some waviness to the seal. And so did the original one. The original one, like I said, was separating. Some people use super glue, which I don't recommend. Some people use also thin double-sided tape to re-glue this dust cover or this dust seal, whatever you want to call it. Because to me, it is called out as a weather strip or a weather seal on GM's website, but honestly, it's just, like I said, it's just a dust cover or a dust seal. It doesn't prevent water from getting in. The water actually leaks in, and there's drains on either side of, like right in this area, on either side of the B-pillar, on the inner side of your hatch or your trunk area. You got water runoffs, and it's just there to kind of fill in that gap. But anyway, yeah, something that I missed, and if I do it again, which hoping I'm not, but if I do it again, I will remove the hatch and make a video and show you guys. But the key here is this: it can be done without removing the hatch. You just have to be patient. It's like anything else when working on cars. Talk to you guys later.